Our first speaker for the evening, speaking on item 10.04 on our agenda, I'd like to welcome to the microphone at this time Ron Bellus, followed by Joe Gusick.
Thank you, members, for the opportunity to speak. I'm Ron Bellus, and for full disclosure, I'm a candidate for the Gilbert School Board. I ask one simple question: what is the single most important responsibility you have as an elected official, as a member of the school board? I've heard one board member say that it's to hire a competent superintendent, then step aside and let him or her do their job. I can see where that might be a reasonable assumption, considering all the responsibilities given to the superintendent. But actually, that's where your job begins, not ends. The single most important responsibility you have as a member of the school board is to make policy. Everything else you do extends from there. The budget, personnel matters, curriculum, everything is an extension of what the policies are. And you make policy through school board meetings like this one. And these school board meetings are governed by an agenda. Therefore, whoever controls and sets the agenda controls and sets the policy. That's Civics 101. This really shouldn't be debatable. The most egregious wrong a previous Gilbert School Board did was to abdicate that responsibility and by giving that power to the superintendent. I applaud Dr. Rice for recognizing his civic responsibility by putting this vital issue before the board. Thank you, Dr. Rice, and I hope every superintendent in this state whose district has a similar policy follows your example to correct this great error. If not, perhaps the legislature will. Our system of representative government means that we voters elect board members to represent us, not the superintendent. You represent us to make policy. You are directly accountable to the voters, not the superintendent. You are elected to make policy, not the superintendent. Elected officials make policy, not staff. The board hires the superintendent and supervises him or her to make sure the policies you make are carried out. That is how our system of representative government works, and it can only properly work by following that procedure, by following your constitutionally mandated responsibility. Do you consult the superintendent? Of course. You also should consult teachers, parents, the town council, and other elected officials, the business community, even our students. But the agenda is your responsibility to set because it is your responsibility and yours alone to make policy. I urge you in the strongest terms to unanimously vote yes on this issue. Thank you for that. Now, if I could take my remaining time to give you what might be some good news. I met with our county treasurer, Hoskins, today to discuss our budget situation. He told me of a financial instrument, a low-interest loan, the county has for school districts that would enable us to restructure some of our debt and save a great deal of money. So instead of paying, what, $27 million in debt service this next fiscal year, we could save a few million and, of course, offset some of the loss of funding. We need to look into that. We need to start being creative and safe in looking for all possible funding sources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Can we check into that pool of money to be loaned possibly at a lower interest rate where we could maybe restructure some of our debt, Mr. Dangerfield? Is there a way we can check into that?
We're actually already doing it. It's the tax anticipation notes are being sold to the county at a lower interest rate than if it was being sold publicly. So I believe we're already doing that.
Okay. Well, good. Glad to hear that. Is it possible to restructure any of our other debt? Is any of that money at a more favorable rate available for any other debt restructure? Have we ever checked on that?
For the outstanding school improvement bonds that are out there, there's actually timelines on when those are refundable, but we can certainly, when they are refundable, look into if the county's interested in doing a refunding on it. We would certainly explore that. Absolutely.
Okay, let's plan on doing that at the appropriate time then.